the day today, in every place, wherever you go, workplace, friend's house, social media, it is only one thing: coronavirus disease or COVID-19. Actually, we are bombarded with informations. Every day, every place we have statistics, what's happening, daily update. But I wanted to discuss today, what are the practical tips? What are we supposed to do? What is our responsibility in the society to contain, to break the chains so that it does not spread around? So today I got Olivia Dunlop with us, and I'm going to ask her what are the questions that is going through her mind as an individual, and what are the types of questions that she is facing from her friends and relatives. Hi Olivia.
Hi Dr. Roy.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Today we are going to discuss about coronavirus. So you can ask me what questions you have in your mind.
Yes, so see, throughout the world, what we're finding nowadays is the only talk of the town is about coronavirus, which is COVID-19. So what do you think about this virus, and how can we maybe prevent from getting this disease?
Well, there are too many questions at a time. Now, the coronavirus is a group of viruses which usually cause the symptoms like common cold and little fever, dry cough. Now, there have been sometimes very serious pandemic or epidemic in which the diseases which were known as MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, or SARS, Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, and the latest one that we have, that is COVID, coronavirus disease, because it was started in 2019, so it's called COVID-19. Well, how we protect ourselves? There are too many videos, too many informations, too many advice. Your neighbors and your colleagues, everybody will tell you. But the recommendation will be, don't listen to all these viral videos everywhere going around. Only restrict yourself to the updates that are being shown by WHO, World Health Organization. And if you follow the WHO, World Health Organization guidelines, number one should be regularly, thoroughly you wash your hand with either an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, or if you don't have that, just soap and water. And why should we do that? Because an alcohol-based sanitizer will kill this COVID-19 coronavirus if you have contacted it from anywhere which you can. The good news is COVID-19 is not as virulent as some of the previous respiratory disease viruses have been, but the bad news is that its contagiousness is spread to others is very high. The reason is, after getting exposed to coronavirus, a person can be completely asymptomatic for 14 days, but still the person is in infectious stage, which means this person, wherever he has touched, we can contact the virus from any one of these places. It could be a doorknob, it could be a public transport, it could be a taxi, it could be an auto, it could be you have entered into the hospital and you are opening the door, it could be from utensils, cups, or it could be from anywhere. And that's the reason we want you to wash your hands. And I'm going to show you now how you should do the washing of your hand with alcohol-based sanitizer. What you can do is you can carry a portable small size alcohol-based sanitizer in your pocket or in your bag, and just put a couple of drops of it on your hand, and then what you do is you just nicely rub it all over individually, each finger. And once you have nicely rubbed all the surface of your hand, including the tips of your finger and the nails, this is alcohol based, so it does not remain sticky, and you are ready to go and start. Now, why the hands? Because it doesn't penetrate through the skin. you have contacted the virus from somewhere. And what needs to be avoided is, should not touch your hands, because while talking we have this habit of touching the nose, and then sometimes we touch the eyes. Now it will enter through the respiratory tract, or by touching the nose and the eyes, or in the mouth. So this itself is good enough. If you don't have alcohol-based sanitizer with you, plain simple soap and water, and just wash and rinse in the water, that is good enough. Don't panic, you don't have to sterilize your hand. And the point number 2 is, maintain a distance of 1 meter of 3 feet from people around you.
So I think I should maintain my distance from you now.
Now maintain distance, not from all people who are coughing or sneezing. So don't cough, don't sneeze now for this period. The next thing is, maintain proper respiratory hygiene, which means if a person is coughing, because the disease spreads by droplets, coughing or sneezing. So when you need to cough, either take a handkerchief and put it like this. If you don't have a handkerchief, a tissue is good enough. So you take a tissue and you cover both your mouth and nose, and then but what is important is, don't keep using the same tissue. Discard the tissue into a proper dustbin area. But if you don't have an handkerchief, you don't have a tissue, the best is to use the hollow of your elbow. You just cover your mouth and nose like this, and then so that means you're not spreading it around. And by chance, if you're using inadvertently your hand, then you have your disposable alcohol-based sanitizer. So even if you have coughed in your hand, then use the alcohol-based sanitizer and just clean the hand and kill the virus. The next thing to follow is, avoid all the hot spots, the places where there are gathering of large numbers, and that means going to cinema hall, going to prayer houses, going to playgrounds to watch games. But all these things has already been nearly done, because schools and colleges have shut down, universities have shut down. Avoid going on holidays to places where you can actually have high incidence of contacting, high chance of contacting from there. So basically it means stay at home, enjoy the time. And the offices have allowed work from home. Even the students can take the lessons online. The teachers are going to upload the classes online. So which means it's not that bad. Stay at home, watch some good movies, spend quality time with your family, with your children, with your spouse. The other thing that you need to do is always remain up to date with the information which the national or the local, the government is continuously having in their websites. So follow the link. Now you will be aware of development of each thing, what is happening in your own locality in a national level. Now comes the discussion, who are the people who are likely to kind of shield themselves or isolate themselves, because a very popular word now that is going around is quarantine. Now suppose if someone develops low-grade fever, is developing dry cough and developing symptoms of common cold, sneezing, now first that what they should do is isolate themselves. And the reason is, now there are such a huge number of people who will have such common symptoms. Should all the people be tested for the virus? The step 1 should be, for 14 days the person should isolate themselves. And who are the people who should wear masks? Because now suddenly there is a high demand for masks in the market. All the so-called manufacturers have already stocked it up, God only knows. Now you can't buy masks. The prices have gone 10 times higher. Now this is another aspect that I want to bring. What type of mask that you should wear? Everybody is talking, is it N19, any specific type of mask that I should wear? Actually, one good news is coronavirus is large in size, 400 micron, and even a simple cloth mask is also good enough to protect you from it, or any normal available surgical mask. Now I'm going to show you how to wear the mask. Before you touch the mask, you do alcohol-based hand sanitizer and nicely rub both the hands so that your hand, in case if you have contacted anything from anywhere else, then you take your mask. Now there are different types of masks. If you do not have the elastic ones, or if you do not have the N90 and other things, don't panic. You can stitch your own mask just with a piece of cloth and 4 strings attached around the corner. So put the one on top of your nose, go behind and nicely, tightly tie at the back. So this actually tightens the upper part of it. Take this, pull it down so that it covers the whole of face. Tighten it so that there is no gap between the mask and also your mouth and the nose. There should not be a gap there. Once you have tightened, this is the position of the mask. Now just tying the mask is not enough. You should also know that in case if you are coughing or sneezing, it's the inside of the mask which is getting soiled. And if you are using a cloth mask which is reusable, you can take it out and wash it, dry it and wear the same one again, so that you don't have to buy the disposable one and keep on throwing it. So at the time of opening, it is very important the inside of the mask does not touch anywhere else, and you actually don't touch the inside of the mask, and you just take it away like this and just wash it, keep it dry it, and then start using it again. What is important I want to show, that let's not take it as a style icon at the moment, because who are the people who are going to wear the mask? Look, we have 1.2 billion, 120 crores, that's a population. So there are clear guidelines. If you are having low-grade fever, dry cough, flu-like or cold, common cold and sneezing, then you should protect yourself so that you don't spread it to others. If you are handling a person who has cough and cold or fever, or if there is a person who has been to an area or potentially that person has been exposed, so these are the people. Now you won't actually need that all the people walking around in the streets and everywhere should wear masks and go around. Number 2 is when to call for help. Now, if you are actually showing the signs and symptoms that you have, again I am repeating, you have low-grade fever, you have dry cough, not bringing out phlegm, you have common cold-like features like sneezing, then you should call for help and let this be left to the medical doctor, that who are the person to be tested for the coronavirus and who are the people who has to be quarantined and isolated. There aren't enough centers, there aren't enough kids to test the whole population. So our supply should not be misutilized. It should not be that everybody feels out to go and test for coronavirus. It's not all of them. The best thing to do is quarantine yourself for 14 days and use the protections. But the other thing that I want to tell is something which I am seeing in and around wherever I am coming in contact. There is some kind of a secrecy. I mean, why should it be? If a person has been exposed or if a person is actually having fever or these symptoms, he hasn't done anything wrong. So I think he should announce, because what is important is what about the maids or the drivers or the other people who are getting into that house? We do not know that these contacts are going and spreading to how many people. So I think the next message that I would like to give is, in case if you have visited a country, Italy, or for that matter China or New York, and you think you could have contacted it and you are in isolation and quarantine, please tell everybody else so that all the people coming into your house, they also can be avoided.
Dr. Roy, I had another question to ask you, that is, who are the people who are more likely to develop this disease, and how can they actually avoid being contaminated?
So look, Olivia, anybody who has got the disease, which is, that means confirmed new case, that person can give it or spread it to another person, whoever is coming in contact, if he is sneezing, touching or any other way. Now the question is, who are the people who are at higher risk? It's the young babies, newborn babies, or elderly people who do not have that great immunity. The young adults will fight the disease very well. And the good news is that actually majority of the people will recover from it. There is only 2% mortality, which is very low. People die much more from tuberculosis, malaria, salmonella, shigellosis, even diarrheal disease. People, kids die much more. It's just that it has created such a hype and fear. So what you should know is, the moment you find out that there is a new case, that person should be isolated. You should protect yourself. And also to let you know, people who has got diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease or respiratory disease, they are likely to go into very serious complication of respiratory symptoms, and who probably have a higher chance of very severe morbidity and mortality.
Do you think, are there any medicines or therapies or say drug which can actually help people, get over this disease?
There are some people who get this feeling that fever, cough and cold-like symptoms, so why not antibiotic? Now this has to be clear in mind. Antibiotic work against bacteria, and this is a viral disease. So one antibiotic is of no use. Are there anything that you can take to prevent getting exposed or contacting the disease? Sorry, there isn't anything till date available that if you consume this, whether you consume haldi or whether you consume garlic or whether you take anything else, that will make you safe. No, there isn't. Are there any vaccines? Absolutely not. COVID-19, we still don't have a vaccine. There is a vaccine available, it's called flu jab. Now it gives you protection against N1, H1 flu virus. So many people have been advised to take the flu jab. It will prevent you from developing some of the influenza type of viruses, but COVID-19 do not have any vaccination. So sorry, the only thing that it can be done now is to prevent the disease from spreading, and that's not difficult. It's like breaking a chain. Haven't you received sometimes in social networking sites that send this message to 10 other people? Don't break the cycle. So each person keeps sending it to 10 people, and then thousands and millions of people share this. This is exactly the same situation. Now, once new case has been detected, keep an eye on your advices from the local health committee, national health committee, WHO guidelines. Break the chain. And this is good news is China has already managed to contain this. So if we actually become careful, maintain proper hygiene, maintain respiratory hygiene, so instead of going and shaking hand, say our namaskaram, our Indian traditions, you're touching your hand with yours and not touching the other person. If the other person is sneezing or coughing, Protect yourself if that person is not protecting so that you don't get exposed. Use mask on those conditions which I have mentioned, and this way we will be able to contain this disease. And the happy news, compared to all other countries wherever it has spread, actually Indian government and Indian population has managed to restrict it to such a low number, highly predictable. So let's spread this, not the disease, spread the awareness. Share it with your friends. Let everybody else know about the practical tips of how to restrain COVID-19 coronavirus disease.
I had another question in mind, that is, can this coronavirus be transmitted through mosquito bites?
Talking about mosquito, thank God, it's a big no. So it's not a vector borne like malaria is transmitted by mosquitoes. Now there are other diseases, like thank God for many things like HIV, a very serious disease. It's not transmitted. Imagine if it would have been transmitted by mosquito bites. COVID-19 not transmitted by mosquito bite.
Can eating garlic actually prevent the people from getting this virus?
Wow, don't remind me. I love garlic. I love the taste of it. Love garlic chicken a la Kiev or anything. But even though we know it has antimicrobial properties, even though garlic is good for heart and many other things, but if you think that garlic will prevent you from contacting COVID-19, man, I'm telling you, you're in fool's paradise. It has nothing to do with transmission of this viral disease.
Can regularly rinsing your nose with saline water or taking hot baths actually help in preventing and spreading of this disease?
Rinsing your nose with saline water? Come on, rinse your hand regularly with soap and water or alcohol-based sanitizer. No need to rinse your nose. And by taking hot water bath, yes, after a hard day's work, it's very refreshing. You feel nice. Your body ache and other things are much better off with a hot bath. But how will a hot bath prevent getting transmission? Because it's a droplet infection, so it does not help.
There are most of my friends who are actually spraying alcohol and chlorine all over their bodies just to prevent coronavirus. Is it actually necessary or does it actually help?
Spraying your body with alcohol and chlorine? I mean, come on, man. Why waste alcohol like that? Those who like alcohol, drink it, you feel nice. But by spraying alcohol or chlorinated water, this is not going to give you any immunity against COVID-19. Olivia, I hope that I have answered most of your questions.
Yes, you have.
But there are too many things to discuss. There are too many rumors which are going around. People have gone to what extent? Come on. I mean, there are people who have advised drinking gomutra. How people are selling cows' urine. I mean, stick to proper scientific WHO guidelines. Very simple. Just break the cycle. Just wash your hands, wear protections, mask, and stay away from other people. You have got a nice time, stay at home, watch movies, spend quality time with your relatives, with your spouse, with your children, and keep an eye on the link and the website which is continuously being updated. And there are countries which have restricted. They have managed to restrict the disease. But before you plan your holiday, please check it out. There are some countries which are in lockdown. You should know what is lockdown. Italy was under lockdown. Now Malaysia has locked down till 31st. So that means no people will be allowed to go out or to come in. So before you plan your holidays, want to go somewhere, just check out all these things. And if you like this video, please share it, subscribe it, and keep watching such informative videos on health and education on our YouTube channel.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Olivia, for making this interesting.